Clashes have erupted in Mongkok as bailiffs, assisted by the police, began removing barricades in a section of Argyle Street in accordance with a court injunction. Police took action after some protesters refused to leave the area. At least 32 people have been arrested so far, and the standoff continues this evening. Ronnie Samtani reports.
Tension mounted at around 2:30 in the afternoon, several hours after bailiffs began their clearance operation, as a number of protesters refused to leave Argyle Street.
If you do not stop immediately, police officers will arrest you for suspected criminal contempt of court, resisting or obstructing a public officer, and other offenses.
There was pushing and shoving between police officers and those who insisted on staying. After warning protesters to stop charging police, officers began taking people away. Nearby shops closed their shutters to avoid the chaos. Police tried to disperse the protesters and asked them to move down Portland Street towards Chim Sa Choi so that they could reopen the roads. It was just after 3 p.m. when traffic reopened on Argyle Street and some nearby streets. But there were more clashes soon afterwards as protesters tried to rush onto Portland Street. They demanded that police officers open the road for them. The police raised a red banner here warning them to stop charging. More officers arrived at the scene, armed with shields and batons. And as the evening fell, crowds also grew as more people joined the demonstrators, forcing a tense standoff between the two sides. And more scuffles ensued. It began peacefully at around 9:30 this morning when the lawyer representing the minibus company read out the injunction order and gave protesters time to clear out their belongings. Some demonstrators began removing items from the street.
We are not upsetting about losing Mongkok, but we are actually upsetting about the government is not taking their responsibility to answer to the public's democratic request.
When bailiffs and workers moved in to clear out obstacles, protesters raised questions about the injunction in an apparent bid to buy time. But there was no resistance as workers removed the crates and sandbags that formed a barricade across the street. Bailiffs removed the remaining tents one by one until the street was cleared. Ronnie Samtani, TVB News.
Our Ronnie Samtani has been following the developments in Mongkok, and she joins us now live. Ronnie, what's the latest there?
Hi, Sonia. The atmosphere is very intense right now. Just moments ago, police started using tear spray on the protesters to try to disperse them. They've been forcing them further and further down Portland Street, but many of the demonstrators are still refusing to leave. Some of those that were hit with the tear spray were seen running away, screaming in pain, and they were holding their eyes. But a lot of the demonstrators have taken out goggles and umbrellas and have been trying to defend themselves. They are really determined to stay here and are refusing to leave. That's all from me for now. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Ronnie. That was our Ronnie Samtani reporting live from Mongkok. Now, in a bid to resolve this political impasse, the Chief Secretary for Administration has suggested further talks with student leaders behind closed doors. Diane To reports.
Before he left for South Korea, where he's to learn about the development of innovative industries, Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying expressed confidence in the police in enforcing the law in a professional manner. Speaking in the capital city, Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam said the student leaders' demand for Beijing to retract its framework set for Hong Kong's political reform has left no room for further discussion. But she insisted she's not closing the door for further dialogue. I really hope to sit down and discuss with them, she said. Maybe it's unnecessary to make the meetings open to public. However, Lam also revealed that there is no date set yet for the report on local sentiment to be submitted to Beijing, which was one of the concessions made by the government in the dialogue with student leaders in October. She pointed out public opinion changes constantly and that she wants the report to be more comprehensive. Meanwhile, the court has rejected an appeal filed by a protester this morning against an injunction by taxi groups to clear a section of Nathan Road between Argyle and Dundas Streets. The taxi group's legal representatives have already posted the court order in newspapers, as well as the site to be cleared as required by the law. Bailiffs could be taking action tomorrow at the earliest. The same protester had earlier tried to appeal the injunction for the Argyle Street section cleared today, but was rejected by the Court of Appeal. Diane To, TVB News.